On the one hand, you have an experienced legislator and politician who's served her country for 40 years. On the other, you have a casino operator, stroke property developer turned reality TV star who's never held office, a showman and a charlatan, a billionaire who, by his own admission, thinks it's smart not to pay his taxes. The idea of President Trump is not just post-truth, it's post-funny. In this week's debate, he was called out for lying time after time.
Donald thinks that climate change is a hoax perpetrated by the Chinese. I think it's real.
I did not.
Science is real.
I do not say that.
Someone who has said pregnancy is an inconvenience to employers, who has said...
I did not support the war in Iraq.
Even though we all know he's lying, a man who commands the small screen can still become commander-in-chief. Let's keep box office and ballot box apart. Otherwise, this is no longer serious politics, people. It's reality TV. Unless America wakes up in the next 40 days, none of us will be able to switch him off for the next 4 years.
First of all, I don't have a problem with people making leaps from screens. No, of course I have a problem with lies, but I don't have a problem with people making leaps from screens into politics.
Well, you would say that, wouldn't you?
I would say that. But also, you've seen it with Schwarzenegger, for example. I know, obviously, he's not the president of the US, but he's someone that I admire and respect. He's put himself to various different careers and always smashed it as being the best at what he does and did great while he was in politics. Reagan, the same. So I have no problem with people going from screen into politics, no issues. I think that a lot of people, they're disillusioned with politicians at the moment. They don't feel like they look like them, sound like them, and rightly or wrongly, they want people that do. And the problem that you've got with someone like Trump, it's soundbite politics. It's making statements that don't always stack up, but people resonate with what he's saying. And then on the point of lies, I think it's appalling that politicians lie. They do it everywhere, Rachel. And I don't want to get personal or anything, but one could argue about the Brexit thing and the 350 million.
Please, let's not
It goes
do
on. No, but my point is, it goes on right across the countries, and I think it's outrageous. I've said this before, politicians shouldn't be able to stand up and tell lies when they're campaigning. It should be governed, and there should be consequences when that happens. But there aren't those consequences, hence they do it, and hence they get away with it.
Greg, do you think that he actually believes his own lies and therefore in some post-factual way he doesn't think he's lying?
He's the barroom bore, isn't he? Really, is what he is. He's the bloke who sits in the corner, knows about everything, doesn't bother with the facts, a bit like you, Nick.
Yeah, I knew you were looking at
doesn't bother with trying to find out the facts, just makes assertions.
And has a radio show.
And doesn't even remember what he said before. So actually...
But also it doesn't matter to him.
No, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
And the scary bit is...
That is scary.
It's all scary. That gets him at least 40% of the vote.
I know.
And it's really scary.
So we've got to a point in politics where somebody can become almost president simply on the grounds of being good on television and lying through his teeth and people not caring.
But you go back to the Brexit lines. I know you don't want to go back to Brexit, but when Michael Gove said, we don't want to know about experts, basically said, we don't want to know about facts. Yeah. We don't want to know about the real things. We only want to know, what we believe.
What we want to hear.
And this guy, as I say, he's like something outside of politics. He's not from politics. And he just makes assertions about anything.
But I think this is very worrying, that we can have a post-factual politics and a roster of people who think they can take office simply by dint of saying things on television, appealing to people's worst instincts, rather than look at Hillary or the rank and file and the grassroots who've actually met people, held office, been councillors.
As this has been a ceaseless love letter to Hillary Clinton, led by you, Rachel Johnson. Perhaps we can take a look at the most recent research from the New York Times and see. Oh, what research? You don't like research? Sorry about that.
Well, actually, the New York Times is so on message with Hillary.
New York Times and CBS, where it comes to the message of trust or indeed untrustworthiness. And here we are. Hillary Clinton actually is more untrustworthy than Donald Trump. 63%. 63. So what do you think an election is?
What I'm saying is, this is people they've polled.
63%. Let me get the numbers out there. 63 plays 60%. So it's almost like some girl crush you've got on Hillary Clinton.
Nick, for one exciting moment, I thought you were going to have some real facts and figures. All you've got is a
poll that shows
that Trump's working.
Oh boy, here you go. And well done to you. You have a lovely Metropolitan London lifestyle. You mix with all your friends in Notting Hill. It's sensational. You are not sitting in the
So do
Midwest.
you.
I thought you went to the
Says
same
you.
You go to the same thing she
You
goes
go to all
You're
the
always
same
meeting
places
each
she
other.
I only
goes
go as her
to.
driver. I only go as her driver to pick her up at the end of the night.
I'm not going to interrupt you
are
while you're
not-
making a fool of yourself.
You are not sitting in the middle of Alabama. You're not sitting in the middle of Ohio. You're not sitting down in Texas where you haven't got a job, where you can't afford a house, where your kids aren't going forward, where everything seems
Which
to
is
have moved on.
precisely why you need
Globalisation
Hillary
has moved on.
Clinton in the White House.
Oh,
I
'cause
mean,
she
all I
because she
hope-
hasn't been anywhere near the White House for decades, has she?
And they did a good job when they were there.
Oh.
Can I just say, Rachel, thank you for your discussion this week, because it's fantastic and so necessary. And all I hope is that on November the 8th, we put this Trump nightmare to bed, dear God, and that the Republicans change their selection process so that this can never happen again.
But what do we do
I
if
mean,
he
even
wins?
though we could...
What do we do
I
if
don't
he
want to think
wins?
about that.
Have a
I
party.
do not want to think
Well, you didn't
about
want to
that.
think about Brexit either, but I mean, we got it. You know, what do we do?
No,
if
but
he
this is
wins?
worse than Brexit. What
it
this
is.
could mean? Oh, goodness.
What
Good
could it
God.
mean?
Yeah, I want,
good
June, yes.
God.
What I want you to
Here we
say
go.
at this point is, yes, let's make the selection process of presidential nominees
Yes.
different
Yes.
so that people cannot get onto the
100%.
slate,
Yes.
let alone near the White House,
100%.
unless they're demonstrably
Yes. How does it prove
sane,
it? Yes.
at the very least.
Sane and
they've
proven.
worked for
Yeah.
the party.
I agree.
They've held office.
100%.
Come on, these are small things to
because
ask.
Why does it fall to you
because
to tell Americans who should be their president?
Why not me?
The
Look
whole
what they're doing
super
without me.
delegate system of the Democratic Party means that something like this cannot happen with the Democrats. That's why the Republicans
Right.
have to change their selection process. And Greg, something similar has happened with us, with Labour. You know, you have to make it. It's not everybody that needs to
it's those
choose
damn
the
people
leader.
having their say, isn't it?
Do you know, I
Well,
That's
look
what
at
it is.
Well,
That's what
would
it
you
is.
People
But
didn't
when
elect
people-
Donald Trump. The
So Nick,
people
would-
didn't make him
No.
the
So,
nominee.
Nick,
The
would you run?
Republicans did.
Yes.
Would you run politics by referendum?
No, I don't think so. No, because
Yes,
we
you
elect
would.
them.
You
I mean,
love
it's big
referendum.
issues, I would, like such as Europe or something.
Jesus.
But other than that, hopefully they're half decent, most of them at their job. We pay them, we elect them and pay them to do a job. They should bloody well be able to get on with that. Keep asking us what the decisions
No,
are.
but you're the
Otherwise,
one
you may as
who's
well live in
just attacked
Switzerland.
Greg for the selection procedures of the FA. And
Yeah.
now you're not
Yeah,
attacking
no, I'm not
June
attacking-
for the
yeah.
rotten selection procedure of Donald Trump in
Yeah.
America.
But
That's
the
about
people
to
aren't
take the world
if the people
into
were involved,
oblivion.
if the people were involved in selecting the England manager, they wouldn't have half the Herberts. I've just going, don't go down this bloody list again and all the money we've wasted. £50 million.
I can tell you who.
You'd have had
who
Brian
last-
Clough and
In America, they
yeah.
actually did have a
Brian
Herbert.
Clough.
Martin O'Neill.
Well, let's remember Brian Clough. You know, there was a famous phrase around Brian Clough.
Oh,
which
yes,
was,
son.
Cloughie likes a bung. And, you know, I remember making a film once and going to the very table where the bag of
bung,
money
yeah.
went across to Brian Clough. So
Those were the days,
if-
Greg.
Yeah, they were the days. They were the days when I had a
sheepskin
proper-
coat.
Yeah.
But do you know what I get confused about? Because whether you all agree or disagree with Donald Trump, I do think it's very undermining to everyone that actually agrees with him. There are a huge number of people that agree with him and his policy, and you might not, and you might not.
That's not
But
what
it's-
we're saying,
no,
Michelle.
But what
We're saying
frustrates
he's a
me-
dangerous man.
No,
I've
in
got
your view,
nothing
in your
against
view, but
Donald
there are a
Trump
huge number of
supporters.
people that sit there and the policies that
And
he
they
comes
will
out with and the
find out
statements
if
that
he
makes.
wins.
I know, but
They'll
it's-
find out.
it
Look
is a
what
bit-
happened with Bush.
But in lots of ways, there is this element of almost snobbery in some ways, because it's like,
No,
I saw it with, like, you see it with UKIP and a Nigel Farage, and you see it with Trump, because it's not the view that a lot of people hold. They put it down, and the problem when you do this,
isn't snobbery.
when you suppress people
good.
like this that have these views.
She's good. If only I was single. You're so good.
But when you suppress
could
the
I thought you were single.
but what's dangerous, I'm telling you now, what's dangerous is suppressing this level of view and making people that have that view, making them feel like they're disgusting or disgraceful or stupid.
That is not
That's
what
what's
anybody
dangerous.
here has said. We have said
Well
that
done.
Trump is disgraceful and disgusting,
In your
not
view.
his
In your-
supporters.
Absolutely,
In your view.
You know far better than these Americans.
That
right?
is not what I'm saying.
I think she
I
probably
respect
does.
all
Yeah.
voters.
Anyway, let's put Trump to bed and let's hope after the US election we never have to see that man again.